Imagine yourself, after months of working your butt off, you finally get the clear to close from your lender and you're ready to go get the keys to your house. You get an email saying this is where you need to wire the money to. This is the amount that you need to wire. Looks about the same from what the lender's been sending you. You wire the money, you go to the closing table, and as you're signing, the escrow officer or title company asks you, hey, so when are you going to wire that money? What do you mean? I wired the money this morning. They check their system. Nope, we haven't had any wires. Pull out your receipt, ready to prove them wrong, only to find out that you wired the information to the wrong place. No, you didn't mess up a number or you messed up a name on the who you needed to wire to. It turns out the email you received was a spoofed email from somebody claiming to be from the title company who had the right information, knew the title company's information, the escrow officer, everything to make you believe it seemed official. And now you just sent your entire life savings to some random person. Hello guys, my name's Javier and welcome to the first episode of a new series I'm calling Home Buyer Horror Stories, where I'm going to share with you guys some real life stories that are happening to real life buyers like yourself and hopefully scare you, not necessarily from buying a house, but scare you with these incredible stories to help you hopefully avoid this from happening to you when you're buying a home or during your current home purchase, or maybe down the road when you're planning on buying down the road. Say down the road twice. But anyways, let's get back to the story at hand. The story I described to you is unfortunately becoming a very common story occurring with a lot of home buyers around the country. This is something that we're calling escrow wire fraud. And it's gotten so serious now that you actually have to sign a disclosure a lot of times when you're buying a home, just giving you a heads up about it. If you go on Google right now and you search up escrow wire fraud GoFundMe, you're going to find dozens and dozens of people, unfortunately, who have suffered through this. And a lot of these stories are very similar. I'm going to click on the first one. Looks like something that happened to a USCD nurse and a chef. And it's very tragic because you read these stories and these people aren't just losing a few $1,000s or anything like that. They are striking at the very end of the transaction when you are sending essentially everything to the title company. And a lot of time for these people who are putting a big percent down, it's like their life savings. In this example, Kevin and Nicole lost $774,000. Days away from closing on their dream home in Carlsbad, Kevin and Nicole received a fraudulent wire transfer instructions during the escrow process. They are left with nothing. Their dream to buy a home, raise their family is gone. In this other example I found here, Erica and her husband Andrew lost $120,000, their entire life savings. And when they make a claim to try to get that money back, a lot of times these funds go overseas and it's impossible to trace back or get back to them. So this is heartbreaking. So here's what happens. So let me explain to you what should happen in a normal real estate transaction. Once you're under contract on a property, the first money that you give to the title company is the earnest deposit or the good faith deposit, whatever your state calls it. A lot of times it can be as low as $1,000 or it can be a big old percentage, 5 or 10%. And this can either be given by a check or a wire transfer. Now, I'm going to implore you to make sure to deposit this initial taste through a wire deposit. I'll explain why later, but let's just keep going. After that, there's really no funds given to the title company. You pay your inspection, you pay the appraisal to the lender. But as the escrow passes by, at the very end of the transaction, once you have the clear to close, the title company and the lender essentially balance the numbers to make sure that everything is straightforward. A few days before closing, you should be getting a call from the title company saying, hey, we have your instructions, come over here, and we're also going to send you the wire instructions so you can fund the money. A lot of times title companies do not welcome cashier's checks anymore. They used to be able to take cashier's checks a lot of times, but lately they haven't, which is unfortunate because quite frankly, this would, prevent this issue from happening. You get the instructions, you wire the funds, you go to get your signatures done through the title company, and the day of closing, everything closes, records, everyone's happy. So what's happening, unfortunately, is either through a spoofed email during escrow or because the maybe these hackers have hacked into either the realtor's emails or lender's email or the title company's emails. They find out that you're under contract, and they find out the close of escrow date that you have in mind. They find out the name of the title company, what they have on their footer in the email, what they have as their signature, realtors, all kinds of stuff. There's very few instances where maybe 2 weeks or really, far off from closing, you get the email from these scammers saying, hey, send over your deposit. We're ready to get this thing closed, or let's have it in advance. And a lot of times that tends to pass the radar of a lot of people because it's like, well, this is weird. Why are they asking me for this? I'm not going to do it. They call and verify and they deter the scam. But these guys are getting really smart because either they monitor emails or they know close of escrow dates. They go very aware of when about you're going to be requesting those funds. And sometimes even to the point where once they get the clear to close, then they'll send that email. Now what happens is they send you a very specific email that looks very identical to the title company's email. As you can see here, the subject, the signature in the email, the phrasing and everything matches exactly what the title company's information is. Nothing looks off about this email, except there's one thing that you guys really have to double check is on the actual email that it's coming from, the from email, you're gonna notice that it's not the actual URL. It's something that looks similar to it, but it's not going to be it. And this has been worked for all kinds of email scams for the past decades. The really good ones even know the exact amount that you're going to need. And unfortunately for people like I was sharing with you earlier, this sometimes, they lose their entire life savings. And I'm sure these assholes are making tons of money, unfortunately, because of this. So here's some ways to prevent this from happening. Anytime there's any kind of money transfer involved, you need to double, triple, quadruple check that. This means if your realtor is calling saying, hey, the inspector wants to get paid, well, you get the inspector's phone number. You call their office. Hey, I want to make sure that this is you guys requesting the number. Here's the invoice number. Here's this. Can you confirm where you work? Can you confirm your address? Right? So a lot of times these scammers might have the phone information. So they might have a dummy phone number set up where you call and you ask and you say, is this you? And they go, yeah, it's me. That's not going to help. You want to make sure you cross-reference details. For example, when it's time to actually send the entire deposit or the wire or something, you want to make sure to call the title company saying, hey, I just want to confirm that you just sent me this email. Can you confirm with me what the amount is? Can you confirm with me the escrow number? And have them give you details to make sure that this is the right person you're dealing with. If you just call and say, hey, is this you? And they go, yeah, well, that's not going to really help. So anytime there's any kind of money transfer involved, even if it's as little as you're buying a realtor's lunch, you want to make sure you double check everything. And I think the biggest piece of advice I can give you is that initial earnest deposit. Sometimes, like I said, it's $1,000. Sometimes it can be a little more. Well, that's going to be a little fraction of what the down payment's going to be. Once you get the wire instructions to issue your deposit, your earnest deposit, do the same things I taught you earlier. Call the title company, verify these are the wire instructions, print them out, seal them, get them documented. And when you send the money and they actually confirm receipt, this is exactly what you want. Down the road, when it comes time to pay the big down payment or whatever, you still want to call and do everything I taught you in the first step. However, you also want to cross-reference with the wire instructions you received at the beginning of the escrow. There's a car that decided to drive by here. Wow, you're so cool with your Harley, driving really loud. When you get a spoofed email, and you open the wire instructions and it's going to a completely different wire number and a completely different bank, and it's going to John Jones, it's like, whoa, this is not right. Now, I'm not saying is you don't cross-reference anything. You still want to call the title company and verify the email they sent you was correct, because the wire instructions might change for whatever reason. But the good thing is, because you have that original one and it actually worked and they send you a different one, when you call, you can say, hey, is there a specific reason why these wire instructions look different from the first time? Most of the time, they shouldn't have changed. So if something's off and your gut's telling you, well, doesn't make sense, the explanation you're giving me, well, then tell them, you know what, I'm taking a cashier's check. Even though they don't want to take one, they're saying, well, there's going to be a delay. It's better to be safe than sorry. I've fought with many title companies a lot of times because they don't want to take a cashier's check. Well, too bad. We're going to do it because my client doesn't want to do wire, and that's just how it's going to be. So whether it's $900,000 or whether if it's $10,000 or $20,000, you want to make sure to really look out for these things, because I don't want you to be another horror story where you have to go to GoFundMe to try to make up some money to hopefully close. Have you ever dealt with this issue? Maybe you have a friend or family member. I would love to hear about your experience below. And of course, if you have any other horror stories or anything you want me to talk about in the next segment, please please let me know. I'll be doing another video every week. So there will be a playlist up soon so you can watch every other video after that. But for now, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for your time. Watch out for those scammers.